Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger. This is going to be answering a quick question I got sent to me. This question is from KKool87. That's KKOOL87. Says his name's Kyle. So Kyle sent me a question. He says, in my opinion, WWE is wasting Ezekiel Jackson, who I feel can be the next Ahmed Johnson or maybe the next Junkyard Dog, and I honestly feel he would be better off in TNA because WWE are doing nothing with him. TNA needs another monster beast in their company. In your opinion, do you think Big Zeke would be better off in TNA? And could he be a star? Also, I also have a bad feeling that WWE will waste Brodus Clay, who I think can be the next Vader. I think WWE should push him because Clay can be their version of Samoa Joe. Do you agree? Alright. Brodus Clay, I said in a video a few weeks back, I said a while back that I wanted to know what happened to Beast in wrestling. Where are all the new Beast? You had Mark Henry and the Big Show, but I've been watching them since 1997. I wanted like a new Beast. Where's the new? I talked about how there's always a new flippy floppy corkscrew twisty 850 somersault splashy X Division guy on the Indies every week. But where's the new Beast? Where's the new Bam Bam Bigelow? Where's the new King Kong Bundy? Where's the new Vader? Where's the new Psycho Sid? And I said that I think Brodus Clay could be that Beast. I think he talk a little too much to pull out the Beast persona. He got to start talking a little bit less. Absolutely. Could he be Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe's not really a beast. He's a big dude, but he's never been beast. He's been more technically gifted, powerhouse type guy. He's never been really like a beast. Like he ain't like Vader. He ain't like Bam Bam Bigelow. He ain't like a monster. He a tough badass, but he ain't a monster. Brodus Clay could be a monster if you book him right. But it's kind of hard to do it right now because you got Mark Henry doing that right now. So it's kind of like it's like Brodus Clay is along at the wrong time because with Mark Henry doing that, you can't have Brodus Clay doing it. It just ain't gonna work unless you keep him on separate brands. You got to keep Mark Henry just on SmackDown and then have Brodus Clay on Raw, being more of the beast type guy, start destroying people. Then maybe it could work. But totally, I totally believe Brodus Clay could be a beast. He's got to be meaner. He got to make his persona a lot meaner. I think when he talks, he sounds like he sounds like he's a nice dude. And I think they may make the mistake of making him that if he isn't better at sounding bad, he sounds like he's a sweet guy. His voice to me sounds like he's like a big teddy bear type of guy. You've all known the guy like that, the big huge dude who's just really nice and sweet and lovable to everybody. People call him a big teddy bear type guy. And I think Brodus Clay sounds like he's one of those guys. He might not be, but he sounds like that. He sounds like he's a really, really nice dude. Like he wouldn't hurt a fly. But he can't, that's not the sound of voice you need. So if he can't improve that, you might have to give him like a mouthpiece, a manager of some sort. Something like that. If you want to instantly get him heat, you could put him with Vicky Guerrero in her stable that she's putting together as like more like the enforcer type role. Vicky can easily get somebody heat. Brodus Clay, tons of potential in being that beast. I hope WWE doesn't waste him. Now on to Ezekiel Jackson. I like Zeke. I think Zeke has he looks like a monster when he talks in his normal voice. He has a soft but threatening voice. He has to talk like that. Like he can't be the guy that's just trying to get hyped up and yell. It doesn't work with Zeke. Zeke is that he seems his most dangerous when he speaks softly and quietly. He's the opposite. He doesn't need to sound bad. His soft, quiet voice makes him sound even more menacing. Like when he would speak a little bit when he was doing the stuff with Brian Kendrick, he would just say a little bit. When he used to quote the Bible passages from the book of Ezekiel, that I thought was really good. He did that back in, I think it was like back in '08. He was doing that stuff when he was with Brian Kendrick. But – again, Zeke can't be the big powerhouse, but he can be the beast. 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 He can be the be while Mark Henry's doing it. You know, he's been beaten by Mark Henry. He needs like a reboot. I mean, for Zeke's kind of like the guy who needs to go off TV for like a couple months, come back, start a decent winning streak. You know, they put the Intercontinental title on him, but they didn't do any build for it. It was kind of out of nowhere, so they didn't really take the time to build it up really good, get him over first, and then put a belt on him. But, you know, Zeke has a great, you know, the best he has going for him is his look. Zeke looks like $1 million. Zeke looks like he should be in the main event of WrestleMania. And could he do better? Would he be better off in TNA? Yes and no. The reason I'm going to say no is the reason a lot of people have trouble getting over in TNA. Too big a roster, not enough TV time. The TNA roster is so crowded right now. If TNA were to get a second weekly show, say another 2-hour show each week, or another hour show, even in 90 minutes or something like that where they could, you know, do a few more matches, flesh out some of the secondary storylines more. Yes, you could. I could see Zeke doing that, but right now the TNA roster is so crowded that it's gonna be hard. It's hard to get almost anybody over. That's one of their biggest detriments that TNA has going right now. They just don't have enough airtime to get people over the way they need to get them over. Because I believe they can. It's just hard to get over the people they need to get over in only 90 minutes a week. Because, you know, about 30 minutes of Impact is commercials, so you really only got about 90 minutes. They need another show. But if they had more screen time, absolutely, I could see Zeke going to TNA. I think he could be the beast they need. You know, I think he'd be much better off as their beast than having a guy like, say, Rob Terry, who has the beast look, but really doesn't have the in-ring ability to back it up. And that's his detriment. Rob Terry, I hope that guy trains more, because he has a good voice. He has a great look. He just needs to get better in the ring so he can work with him, because Rob Terry just he's a main eventer waiting to happen. I said this before. That guy could be the main event of WrestleMania if he could work better in the ring. So he's kind of on the same thing. I think Zeke could be what Rob Terry isn't, in ring wise. But, you know, I never had a bad thing to say about Zeke. I've liked him a lot. I've always liked he's always had a big presence, and this is one of those things why, you know, I wish there was another big company to work with, because the WWE roster is so big and crowded, and TNA's roster is so big and crowded. You can't put Zeke in Ring of Honor. He's too big to be in Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is like all cruiserweight X Division type guys. You can't put a big dude like Zeke in Ring of Honor, because no one's gonna believe that he isn't the champion. It's, you know, that's a look thing. So he can't go there. You can't. I mean, look, your champions in Ring of Honor are Jay Lethal and David Richards, and the average person is not going to believe that either of those guys can beat Ezekiel Jackson. So, if he were in Ring of Honor, you would have to constantly justify. You would have to constantly explain to the viewer why he isn't the champion. So that's out. You know, I wish there was another company around. So you know, just because the rosters wouldn't be so crowded. Could Zeke be the next Ahmed Johnson? Absolutely. Ahmed, you need a good feud. You know, Ahmed got over with the people. He was just this big tough powerhouse babyface, which Zeke does too. You gotta do a little more of it. He needs that big feud. You know, Zeke's never had really many actual feuds. He needs a good storyline to help him get over. You know, Ahmed Johnson had a couple small programs. He feuded with here's some stuff with Jeff Jarrett in the past, early on, early '96. You know, he was tag team partners with Shawn Michaels, when Shawn Michaels was like the top dog. That helped him get over a bit. You know, he had his small feud with Goldust, where he won the Intercontinental title, and then eventually they kicked off his most memorable feud, which was Nation of Domination. That was Ahmed's most memorable program, which was one of the best feuds ever. Like, it still is one of my all-time favorite feuds. Ahmed Johnson versus Nation of Domination. Next, Junkyard Dog. I don't think he could be a JYD type. JYD was like super duper lovable guy, which I don't think Zeke could be. Ahmed Johnson wasn't super lovable either. He was just really popular. So, but yeah, could Zeke be the next Ahmed Johnson? Yeah, he like many people just suffers from lack of storylines. All Zeke needs is one good feud to get him going. Now, it doesn't have to be a whole nation type thing like Ahmed Johnson had, because it's too blatant. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. Younger fans would get into it because they don't know who Ahmed Johnson is, so they didn't see that feud like older people. Like I mean, I'm 26, so I was watching WWF during that feud. So old fans, people my age and older, would remember like, oh, they're doing the Ahmed Johnson Nation feud. So that's something you could do. You just need a good feud for Zeke, but I'll tell you what I will do though, Kyle. I'm gonna come up with a good feud for Ezekiel Jackson though. Something I think could get him over. I've been still wanting to do other fantasy booking things since I ended my After Immortal series, and I think coming up with something good with Zeke could be good though. So I'm gonna come back and do that at a later time. But all in all, I do think Zeke's a guy that's being wasted. But I think it's a time thing, just not enough time to push everybody. Even in WWE with all their TV, they're still very crowded. I do think he could be the next Ahmed. I think if TNA had more TV time, he could do some really good stuff there too. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up for now, and maybe later today or later in the week, I don't know how long it'll take me to do it, I'm going to see if I can come up with something for Ezekiel Jackson, and I'll put out a video on that. But Kyle, thanks for the question. Feel free to send me more. I always like to answer a good question I get sent to. So, that being said, that is all for this video. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.